Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Heroes of the Couch. Today we're gonna have episode two,
Woo!
Shang Chi. Let's break it down, Matt.
Shang-Chi.
How are we doing today?
Let's get into it, baby. It's been a while. How you
I've
been?
been on the edge of my seat for about 2 weeks now,
2 weeks. Holy
maybe
moly.
three.
Um, yeah, so big news, right? Shang-Chi's trailer dropped, I think, last week, right? So,
Yep,
um,
rack reviews.
yeah, it's like 2.5 minutes or so of just great new footage for us.
hmm
How'd you like it? What'd you think?
I feel a lot of excitement towards it. It's the type of thing that's like kind of been in the back of Marvel's mind since 2008 in Iron Man when they hinted it. And not even hinted it. It was a decent part of that film, but they didn't really get too deep into it. So having those 10 rings in action and seeing all these main characters from the comics come to life, it's going to be sick, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it'll be interesting with the timeline and how they like intertwine this movie into like kind of their phase four.
hmm
But I'm super excited to kind of have more like actual like Eastern Asia, you know, characters
Yep.
and like more traditional like fighting kind of martial arts type stuff in Marvel. I feel
hmm
like that's kind of been lacking, honestly.
Yeah, and they came out with this comics right around the Bruce Lee era.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was
Yeah.
it was big. Everyone was into that. Those movies were hot, and this could be a big thing to bring in that martial arts film kind of feel into the MCU.
Yeah, even that first like one of the first scenes in the trailer is him like doing that like 5 inch punch on
Yes.
the wooden pole.
Oh my God.
It's like it's such a nice like little throwback, I guess, and like showing a little respect to to the history books, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's right. And it's got some big characters, like I said, like the Mandarin, and not the fake Mandarin, but the real Mandarin.
Yeah, yeah.
Of that fake Mandarin, will that Mandarin from Iron Man 3 make any appearance whatsoever?
So I hope so. I really do. It would be great if they were able to tie in. They're like if they were able to kind of tie together all the Iron Man films, not all of them, but like the first one obviously had the 10 rings,
hmm
um, and then the second one with Slattery kind of playing his role as like the fake Mandarin. If they're able to tie that into this movie, I think it'd be sick. I would love if the first scene is like a trial by execute as a trial and like they execute Slattery for pretending to be the Mandarin. That'd be sick.
hmm That would be
Um,
great. Because the
and
last time we saw him was that one shot, maybe like 15-minute, little short, All Hail the King.
yeah, yeah, we should talk about it a little bit. I think
Yeah,
I don't know if everyone's seen it, but
yeah, it's
there's
like
a
a
one
topic.
short one by Marvel called All Hail a King, probably produced and like released maybe 10 years ago now, maybe longer. That takes place after the second Iron Man movie, and kind of it's interesting because it kind of like follows around almost like in a documentary type view of Slattery in jail, uh, and it all kind of culminates in this guy who's like interviewing Slattery, asking him why he did this and what it's like, and etc. And finally he's like, "Do you know about the Mandarin?" And Slattery's like, "Yeah, I'm the Mandarin." Like
Yeah,
it's
he
like
had no
no, no,
idea.
no, no. Like the 10 rings are real, and it builds. Suspense builds and builds and builds, and eventually this guy who's interviewing him, takes out a gun, like builds a gun out of like his material, like shoots one person, and he raises his arm out against Slattery, and on his arm you see, the 10 rings logo, and basically he had come to the prison just to break out Slattery because the real Mandarin was like upset and really
Yeah.
pissed off about Slattery kind of stealing his name.
I think that they're gonna have some kind of trial, or they're gonna use him for either a pawn or ransom, or I'm not sure. He's obviously doesn't have a lot of value, so I don't know if a ransom would make any sense.
I think it'll depend on how evil they want to make the Mandarin
Yeah.
because like execution is would be kind of crazy to see in a Marvel movie, I think.
hmm
Or but like even just to like I don't see why they wouldn't just like torture him if it's like a real terrorist organization.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be crazy for them to just like have him like locked in a cage for like just like chilling, just like being tortured.
And to actually see him suffer, I mean, we didn't see much of that in Iron Man 3. He was just kind of like this happy-go-lucky,
Oh,
all-powerful,
he's just a goofball.
kind of ignorant man, just
Yeah,
not
yeah.
naive to what's going on. So to see him on the other side of the spectrum there, would be very interesting and for sure very dark.
Yeah, I think it would be cool because it would really set up the Mandarin as being evil.
Hmm.
Um, which, I mean, we obviously know the Ten Rings are like a terrorist organization,
Yep.
given like Iron Man 1, kind of what we've seen from them in the various Iron Man movies.
Sure.
But it has been a while. It would be nice to kind of get a reminder of just like kind of how dangerous and evil they really are.
Yeah.
Um,
That gives some background in it. And I do see a lot of flashbacks, so maybe we can see how it's formed through all these historical wars and everything like that, the crime.
yeah, if you look at the trailer, there's actually one scene that I saw that I was like going through slow motion.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure is a flashback to the original kind of like fight, I guess, for the rings.
Yeah.
And there are legitimately like they're small in the background, kind of hidden, but there are dragons like
I see them
in
flying
the
around.
scene. It's sick.
Yep.
Um, so I imagine that's kind of where they'll have like the Ten Rings being formed, because I know in the comics the Ten Rings kind of come from like an alien like dragon race that comes to Earth,
Hmm.
and the Mandarin, like I think it's Wenwu is the guy's name.
In this in
Get
this take of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
gets those rings and becomes this all powerful individual. And I mean, I think I see where that's been changed a bit in this movie, which I think makes sense kind of for like the average view, like the average viewer of a Marvel movie now is not going to understand the comic book background in the same
Nah.
way. So they probably slimmed it down, made it easier to kind of understand, which makes sense.
Yep.
Um, and I'm sure the movie and the story will still be great. Um,
Yeah, seeing a lot of these flashbacks is gonna be interesting to see how he got the 10 rings, if they go into it that in that much detail. And if there's one dragon, I believe they call it Keeper of the Peace or Overprotector, I'm
yeah,
not
the
sure.
Protector, I think.
Um, that one dragon was like the boss, quote unquote, dragon,
The Boss Dragon.
the boss
The
dragon.
Boss
And
Dragon.
he's got those rings. And to see maybe they switch size, maybe they fit the dragon's fingers and therefore human arms. But to see how when Wu steals those rings and the travel of the rings from character to character throughout the movie, it's going to be very interesting. And to see maybe at the end, Shang-Chi is going to return these rings or he's going to be allowed to hold on to them because he's worthy, quote unquote.
I think it'll be interesting to see how they adopt the rings themselves too. Like you said, obviously, like in the trailer, we see them kind of like on the forearms of the Mandarin, and
Yep.
not really rings. I also think that they're going to change the actual powers too, because
Yeah.
I don't. If you're unaware, people like the Ten Rings are like crazy overpowered.
Yes.
Just for example, we can go through them really fast, right? So there are obviously 10 rings. Left on the left hand pinky, Ice Blast. So that's pretty simple. Ring finger, Mento Intensifier, which magnifies physical energy. Middle finger, Electro Blast. Index finger, Flame Blast. Thumb, White Light, which just like apparently emits different types of energy. And that's just the left hand. Now the right hand, pinky is Black Light. Ring finger, Disintegration Beam. Middle finger, Vortex Beam. Index finger, Impact Beam. And then the thumb is the Matter Rearranger. So just imagine if, like, how in the world would Marvel be able to do that and make a good movie? I don't think it's possible.
No, there has to be some kind of holdback, or you can only use one at a time because all of 10 of these rings, the combination of multiple X-Men, Scarlet Witch, Infinity Stones,
Yeah,
and
it's
that
crazy.
that's overpowerful as it
Do you
is.
think that it'll be like you said, where it's like one at a time, or do you think it'll just be like one power in total? Like almost, I almost picture it like the Black Panther suit, that like when you build up your kinetic energy,
You get
there's like an output to it.
uh-huh. Okay.
Um, because I don't know how easy it'll be to like you said, these rings, if they do them to kind of to to the comic book kind of way,
Hmm.
they're going to be so overpowered. It's just, and also not only overpowered, but like you said, confusing in a way where, okay, this guy has 10 rings. How does he compare to like the Infinity Gauntlet with the different stones? Like there are like some powers there that are like a little bit like wishy washy, I think.
Yes.
Um, so I definitely see a world where they dumb it down to like one kind of output, just like for simplicity's sake.
Yeah, I could see that. And I'm also actually kind of surprised that you don't see at one point in the trailer that one of the rings is missing from the 10. Every time you see one ring, you're seeing 10 rings on
Yeah,
someone.
yeah.
It would kind of make sense if they split the power. It obviously wouldn't make sense for the Mandarin to split the power. He obviously wants it all. but it's going to be interesting to see how could someone lose in a fight when they have all 10 of these rings and they're going up against someone that has basic martial arts skills. Not basic, very advanced, obviously, but no magic going on.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a cool like plot tangent if one of the rings were missing, and that's kind of the reason why the Mandarin hasn't been making moves in the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe. That could
Okay.
be a good explanation, maybe why like the first Iron Man was like what 2008.
Yeah,
I don't know what time period it was in like the actual movie, but
I think it's around there.
yeah. So like from then until in like Endgame, it's like where has he been? You know, there
You
has to be
have
some
a
kind of
whole
explanation.
decade and then some.
Yeah, like
He could be stepping up, doing stuff, but it seems like he's just kind of in the background if you're paying attention.
yeah, that's
Like
fair.
here and there, very isolated cases.
Yeah, like there are definitely. I think that you mentioned or maybe mentioned now, like there are definitely scenarios and like almost like Easter eggs where you see people in different movies have like the Ten Rings logo,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's almost like you have to hear about these things to go check out because they're purposely well hidden like that.
Yeah,
Not only do not a lot of people know about the 10 rings post Iron Man 1 because they're not thinking about it, but you see them in a couple of you see them in Ant-Man, someone has a 10 ring tattoo at a pin particle auction, and then you see them in the beginning of Iron Man 2 when someone from the 10 rings is giving Ivan Vanko the blueprints to an arc reactor.
right, right. Um,
So it's just like a here and there kind of thing, but it's nothing huge. They're not doing anything big.
and you think that's purposeful?
It's hard to say, and I wonder if the blip has anything to do with them automatically, not automatically, but now coming to light.
Yeah. So let's talk about maybe where we see this movie fitting in.
Sure, timeline wise, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that it would be really hard if they place this movie before like Thanos comes to Earth,
Yeah,
before like pre-blip.
it would be oddly placed.
Yeah, because then you would expect him to somehow like show up in Infinity War slash Endgame, right?
I agree. I agree.
Especially if he's in San Francisco, at least for part of the movie. Like you would think that he meets somebody or meets people that like are involved in this.
Yeah,
Um,
you would think so.
so I would imagine this movie takes place post blip. I think.
I think so. I think the flashbacks when he's younger goes back enough to be pre-blip, maybe even pre-Iron Man 1 because I mean we're talking 10 years now,
Yeah.
right? I don't think that he gets blipped, Shang Chi. I don't think that when Wu gets blipped.
Wamu.
He could be. I mean, it wouldn't really affect the story that much, maybe. And maybe he's back and now he's like, oh, I need to go find my son. And I know that there's a sister in the mix as well. And I can see her having this kind of jealousy towards someone or she needs revenge of something because she's blipped and therefore she doesn't get the respect that she deserved because I bet she was trained the same way that Shang-Chi was treated.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. I think the sister. I guess we're assuming it's a sister, right?
That's
Um,
what I'm assuming, yeah.
yeah, would be cool because obviously she can kind of go in a couple different directions. Whether she wants to rule and kind of take over the Mandarin's place, or
Mhm.
maybe she wants to kind of pull what Shang Chi did, which was just like get away and escape almost.
Yep.
Um, so she could be a big wild card in the movie. Um, I hope that we get a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah,
I hope,
absolutely.
and I hope they're able to tie this in appropriately without it kind of messing up any of the other like the timeline is really my biggest concern.
Hmm.
Just with the Avengers and with Thanos and everything, it's like
It's sensitive stuff. You can't change that much. You can't do that much.
yeah.
You have to be very
So
careful.
I mean, I'm optimistic. I'm a little bit maybe worried about kind of where this will fit in, but
Mhm.
I mean I'm sure Marvel has thought of everything. Kevin Feige is obviously
Yeah,
a
they do.
genius.
They never trap themselves in a hole with it.
Yeah. Um,
But speaking of the sister, I'm thinking that they run into her in Madripoor.
okay.
I think the trailer
So
came out at the same time that Madripoor was hot in Falcon Winter Soldier.
mhm. Ooh,
And
fun fact for you actually.
yeah, sure.
There is, I don't know if you've seen it yet. I was on it a couple weeks ago. There's a site for Madripoor, like a real like website for Madripoor
Hmm.
that like almost pretends like, oh, you know, come vacation to Madripoor, like come take a visit, etc. It's pretty cool. Sorry, go on.
But you're saying that are they showing some stuff in there?
So it came out. The site was like live during the Winter Soldier
Yeah.
after the episode aired, but they went to Madripoor.
Hmm.
Um, I think more of like an Easter egg hunt
Yeah.
for fans than anything else.
Maybe there's something real small on the site.
I would not be surprised, honestly.
Yeah. That might
Um,
give it away. And they can always update the site as more trailers come out and the movie comes out.
yeah, it's cool. It's interesting. It's like they introduced this place, in Winter Soldier, or I guess Falcon and Winter Soldier. But there's so much opportunity now. They have like a whole, basically like a whole country almost to
Yeah.
explore and build out however they see fit.
Right.
Um, which gives them so much flexibility, I think, from the movie standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And to see the sister there, how long has she been there? Is she just a fighter? Do they know she's there, or is she tracking them down? It would be pretty interesting.
Do you think that they will? I mean, we're obviously speculating, but let's say he starts in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Do you think that he goes to Madripoor of his own volition, or he gets like taken there? Because we see that, but we see a fight scene um, with him and that guy who has like the like the swords on his hands, or
On the
I
bus,
think his
right?
name is like Razor Fist in the comics or something.
Sure. Okay.
And that's like it has to be in San Francisco. So it's
Hmm.
like, do you think that happens? And then he realizes like, oh crap, like time's up for me, and I have to find my sister, or is
Yeah,
it like,
I bet his father sent those goons
yeah,
to go capture him or kill him or whatever his motive is. I'm sure just to capture him because in the trailer he mentions that it's time for them to rule together or time to return to my side after the 10 years.
yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, I mean, I'm excited really. I also think it's cool because like these new films, like these new kind of like origin films, much like Black Panther, gives Marvel a ton of flexibility, and
Yep.
also there's a lot of room for cameos. So, kind of last thing I'll kind of bring up here is, who do you think we'll see, if anybody, in this, and will it be like during the film, or will it be kind of as like a mid credit scene? You think?
I'm always excited for those mid credit scenes. I think that it's almost a waste not to have a cameo in them. So
Yeah.
I think it's a layup. But speak on the topic of Magipur, I do think that Carter will be she'll make an appearance somewhere, maybe
Oh,
in the
Sharon.
background. Yeah, Sharon. I think that maybe she won't have too much dialogue, but I could see her being in the background, or it's like just blatantly hinted if you're paying enough attention to be
Okay,
like,
I can
oh,
see
like
that.
that connection.
Like
Um,
she's in like the box office seat, or like yeah, the box
yeah,
seat for the fight with the sister.
yeah, or she's like someone's talking to her on the phone, or or one of her goons is is there. So there's like a clear connection that Sharon's on pace of what's going on. She is like the eye in the sky. She's Big Brother. She's
She's
watching
the eye
down.
in the sky.
She's gonna go check out what's going on, which is a big, huge step for her. I mean, coming from Winter Soldier and then Civil War, she's getting more and more powerful. And but then again, she might be back in America at that point if it happens after
True.
Winter Soldier.
So that's your number one pick. That's your best guess is
I
Sharon.
think that's my number one pick, but I could definitely see a couple. I could see Ant-Man, obviously the San Francisco team. I think that you were telling me before you had a big one in mind.
Yeah, I think the best option for a cameo would be Agent Woo.
Mm.
He's obviously from Ant Man. He's in WandaVision, so the timing depends on kind of where he is, I guess.
He's a hot
But
commodity too.
he's a commodity. What can I say? I would love it if he were like the cameo and he was like, he finds him in San Francisco and he's like, we've been tracking you since this fight. Like, who are you? What do you do? Et cetera, et cetera. Uh, Almost as a build up to the next movie,
Yeah.
which eventually they're gonna have to tie him in because, I mean, I think they want him involved going forward. And I don't really know what other like uh, major villains he has available to him. I'm not super familiar with the Shang Chi comics,
Hmm.
but I mean, I'm sure they'll find something.
Yeah, I could definitely see. I'm very excited to see Wu. It would be sweet to see him on the
Woo
big screen
woo.
again. Woo woo.
Yeah,
And
maybe some magic tricks.
yeah, and you got to think that bus fight that's going to cause some attention towards him. I
Definitely.
mean, he's not using any magic, but as I go back to the word, the goons on
The
the
goons.
bus, they like you said, Razor Fist. He's got that.
It's the Goon Squad, man.
Yeah, the Goon Squad, Razor Fist. He's got that light up sword at the end. I mean, that's not daily crime that you see. So that's gonna be national news. It's gonna be a big story, and it's gonna
Yeah,
get some attention on him. So maybe then he'll have to flee to Madripoor, or Wu will help him out. I
that'd
would
be
love,
cool.
I would love to see it.
I would love to see it. Yeah, so I think overall my thoughts are I like the trailer.
Hmm.
I'm optimistic.
They didn't give a whole lot
They
away,
didn't
which
give
is
a whole lot
nice.
away, yeah. There's a ton of potential with kind of like the Mandarin background and like filtering in Iron Man stuff here and there. Um, yeah, I guess my only concern is really just a timeline, making sure things fit up and like line up appropriately. But again, like this is Kevin Feige, like dude doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, he knows what's going on before we do. So I have my
Um,
full trust in him.
yeah, exactly.
He could babysit
Um,
children.
any kind of closing remarks from you, man?
Um, I think I'm all covered up here.
Okay.
Obviously, as we said, very excited, and I'm looking forward to more and more content. It looks like we got a pretty booked 2020 with all the movies and Loki and everything like that coming out for just the MCU
So
alone.
what we've got Loki,
Sure,
we've got uh, Black Widow,
Black Widow probably coming out right at the end of Loki. I think that's how it.
we've got this movie as well, or is this 2022?
No, this is 2021. I think this is going to be
Okay.
a fall movie.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I mean, I think obviously COVID kind of threw some wrenches in the plans of Marvel, but
Yeah, I think we our patience is going to pay off.
agreed. Yeah,
We had a quiet year, but these shows have been great. These movies have been decent. I mean, the movie hasn't come out in quite some time, but I'm looking forward to it. Also, there's going to be that third Spider-Man. I think it's coming out at the end of December, so we'll call that 2021 as well.
fair. Yeah,
We'll be
yeah.
booked up.
I think it's exciting stuff, and it'll be cool to see like the first. I think like the first major. Uh, is it the first major? Yeah, I think the first major like Asian superhero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
Yeah, I think as a main character, I think so.
Yeah,
And to have that
awesome.
kind of martial arts in there is really great. And I could see them having the sequel to this and have them tie into some more characters here and there.
Yep, definitely agreed. Okay, I think that's it from us. Thanks, guys, again for tuning in to our second episode of Heroes of the Couch. As always, if you disagreed or agreed or liked anything we said, leave a like, throw a comment, throw whatever you want to do. Like, we'll
Yeah.
respond to your comments. Um, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all, and we'll be back soon.